sometimes that with an inexperienced band, typically everybody's playing full on. Nobody's really listening to one another. And so the beginning of the song, the verse of the song, the chorus of the song, then back to the verse, it all just sounds the same. There's not a sense of starting on this journey and taking a little walk and building and building and building. And then finally the chorus is like big. And then it kind of comes back down for the verse. And music should feel like this. You know, every good movie, every good book, every good story, every good song has this sense of dynamic happening. There's this, we're building, and then there's this release. And we kind of come back down the mountain. And then we're kind of walking back up the mountain, and it's getting building, and then we come back down the mountain. And that's what makes music emotional and interesting. And that's what we need to just pay attention to that when we're putting a song together, putting a chorus together, and we're practicing in our practice times as a band. We need to plot it out. We need to think about, okay, on the intro, is this a guitar-dominant song, or is this a piano-dominant song, or guitar-driven song, or piano-driven song? And go ahead and let that instrument kind of lead out. And all the other instruments will kind of submit to that instrument, if you will, and kind of play around it. But let one instrument be a little bit more driving. And I'm saying guitar and piano, but sometimes it may be even a rhythm thing. Maybe the rhythm is kind of the driving thing, and everybody kind of adds a little bit. So why don't we just do an example of how not to do it? You know, let's just for fun, and this is going to be hard because these are good musicians, but you know what I mean? Let's do like Above All. Let's try that, like right at the top, but just be full on. And this is the way I hear this sometimes when I'm at churches. Put a capo on. Let's try this. 1, 2, 3. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things. Crucified, you were crucified, laid behind the stone. You lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall, and you thought of me above all, above all powers, above all kings. All right. Stop. Now the problem is, it kind of sounds cool, like it's like this punk alternative thing, you know? So it's hard not to even like that. I mean, it's like, but typically, generally, in the worship, you know, on Sunday morning with a mixed generational crowd, you know, we're talking about, you know, when we've talked about this earlier, when we lead worship, we're not just trying to lead the 25-year-olds or just the 30 to 40-year-olds. I mean, we always want to come with an attitude of serving the entire body of Christ. You want to come with an attitude of like it's a family meal, and you want to make sure there's hot dogs for the kids, and there's Brussels sprouts, and there's sauerkraut, and there's, you know, ham and roast beef. You know, you want to make sure that there's something for everyone. So again, let's like we're trying to make music that sort of appeals cross-generationally. So let's just try to do that right. And above all, in this case, let's say it's a piano-driven song. So we're going to map it out. Just take a few extra minutes before you start a song and map it out and say, okay, Jason, why don't you start the tune off? And I'm just going to not even play in the beginning of it. And then maybe Don, the bass player, will probably like kind of just sneaking up high. I'm just going to let them do what they do because they do it well. And just kind of pay attention, if you can, to what each instrument is doing and how the song begins to build to the chorus. So let's just try this together. Okay, Jason. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature, all created things. above all wisdom and all the ways of man. You were here before the world began, above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth. There's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you live to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all, above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things. Okay, let's bring that to a close. Excellent, guys.